There have been a ton of videos lately about the death of Black Ops 4 with the rise of Apex Legends and the continued success of Fortnite. I mean, shit, it's even lower in viewing on Twitch than PUBG, for fuck's sake, the game that it was supposedly the nail to its coffin. However, Treyarch has nobody else but themselves to blame for the current mess that the game is in. Zombies has been a disaster from the 1 month too early, more like 3 months too early release date, as the mode finally doesn't crash and burn harder than Lindsay Lohan in the late 2000s after numerous patches. The Blackout mode that was supposed to make PUBG press F to pay respects hasn't really had a map update since mid-December and is still sporting an autumn theme in spite of it being 2 months into winter, and no, having snowballs lying around the map doesn't count, nor does it fit the aesthetic. Then there's the multiplayer, which has been neglected more than a Trump daughter named Tiffany, which hasn't received a major tuning update since mid-December, which was the week after Operation Absolute Zero began, with nerfing the score streaks into the ground and also zero nerfing due to sucking all the fun out of obtaining said score streaks. It's been mostly minor bug fixes and tweaks for almost 2 months now, and I know that they put out on Reddit a post detailing the upcoming multiplayer changes along with teasers for the new event that contains both new Black Ops Pass maps and a new specialist, and by new I mean one that was in the previous game and I thought was already ripped off for Zero with Outrider. However, other than the 2 maps that nobody plays on because they haven't been in the map rotation until just recently after we saw almost 0 people have, thanks yellow warning sign bug, there's been nothing in terms of multiplayer updates. Now, I know that Epic Games has set the bar ridiculously unattainable with updates for Fortnite every week, but even DICE is putting out every other week patches for Battlefield 5, and although the game sorely needed them, they're constantly making the game better and adding in things like new game modes, weapons, and carrots to dangle that actually require completing challenges instead of just being mindless time-based rewards. However, in a cruel twist of fate, Thursday's update for Black Ops 4 on the PC is the waving of the white flag and a clear indication that they've just given the fuck up on this game. They've given the game the end-of-life treatment by collapsing playlists into multiple mosh pits because apparently the wait times are longer than Ron Jeremy's dick for certain game modes. Blackout remains unchanged, but apparently there have been back-end setting optimizations that allow for faster start times. What this means exactly, who the fuck knows, but making it such that the lobby countdown timer starts when, maybe 85% of the lobby fills instead of waiting until almost 100% like complete fuck trumpets. For zombies, you can no longer decide to queue into matchmaking by selecting the map you want to play on. Instead, you're forced to pick between the Chosen Gauntlet, the vanilla maps in their entirety, and for idiots that are okay with giving Activision Spelt with a dollar sign an extra $50 for less content than in any other season pass prior to this one, there's a playlist for the latest release map and then one with all of the DLC maps included. That's right, not only are there less playlists for the vanilla maps than there are for DLC ones, there's no way you could, let's say, try and complete the Easter egg on a given map or just play on the map that you want to anymore. Do people really have to wait that long to play a zombies match? There's only 4 fucking vanilla maps. That's not a big number of different permutations. Why they need to collapse them all into one playlist? However, the real shaft comes with multiplayer. In core, the options are the featured limited time game mode playlist, TDM, Domination, Hardpoint, Mercenary Deathmatch Mosh Pit, which is where you'll find Kill Confirmed, and the Objective Mosh Pit, which is where you'll find Control, S&D, Heist, and Safeguard in addition to Domination and Hardpoint. So yes, you can't even pick Search and Destroy by itself, which is a non-respawn game mode amongst a plethora of other respawn modes, except with the case of Heist. You don't even have to create your own class because you're buying your options anyways, yet Hardpoint warrants its own separate playlist? Are you fucking shitting me? Oh, and until they hotfixed it in yesterday, noticeably absent from that list was Free-For-All, until people on Reddit caused an uproar and were like, hey, we can't 100% anything anymore without fucking Free-For-All in the goddamn game. You know, one of those game modes that's a staple to Call of Duty. Oh, and for hardcore, there's only TDM and Domination left, no Search and Destroy, no Kill Confirmed, and certainly no Free-For-All. I mean, they left it out of core for fuck's sake. What makes you think that they'd have hardcore Free-For-All anymore? This means that the PC player population is so low that they can't support most of the modes out there. Ouch! That's a telling sign about how bad of a shape your multiplayer is in, and yet Treyarch refuses to fix the game. Instead of focusing resources on Blackout, which I mentioned earlier, is already getting destroyed on Twitch for other Battle Royale games like Apex Legends, Fortnite, and even PUBG. Things that the community have been asking for, like a no specialist mode, lowering health to 100 or 125, more fun score streaks like the VSAT have all been ignored or outright scoffed at by asshats that think they know better. Yes, Call of Duty generally has a lower population on PC PC because it's often the bastard child of the ports, and every year checks are written that the developers' asses can't cash with promises to make the PC version its own unique entity, yet in the same annual failure in spite of lower barriers to entry like a lack of certification process, the PC still gets patches later and often with fixes in mind for the inferior input device of a controller or a peasant FOV and lack of other customization options. This year it's especially different after it being the first Call of Duty game on the Battle.net launcher instead of Steam. Many people rejoiced when this was announced at reveal. However, I felt trepidation because I knew Battle.net has an asinine server scheme whereby you can only sign into either the American servers, the European servers, or the Asian servers, and your account is completely different on each. Your friends list doesn't cross over, and neither do the players. So what does this mean exactly? Well, I can't play with, or more importantly against, anyone that's on the EU Battle.net server if I'm on the NA one, and it gets even worse when you further have to select the game region on top of that different Battle.net server. So here's the conundrum. The community is artificially fractured due to the nature of the server setup on the Battle.net platform because Activision wanted all of the money and not some of the money by saving some money using their own platform instead of paying fees for the far superior one with Steam. When you take an already smaller player pop and then split it up even smaller, you'll run into problems like this where not even 5 months into the game's life cycle, you're already combining playlists because even though I wouldn't mind playing in an EU match if there were no NA matches of, let's say, Safeguard, it's not even possible with this archaic Battle.net setup because anyone that's actually from EU is on a different server than me unless I specifically connect to that one that's further away, so there's no chance in hell I'll ever get into that Safeguard match if it's on an EU server. Here's another fix that can help solve this problem. Playlist player counts. Yet it's been missing from every Call of Duty game since Ghosts because Activision got their feelings hurt when everyone made fun of the paltry player numbers. Instead of making me twiddle my thumbs or rubbing one out while I'm searching for a game, how about showing me before I even hit the find match button that there's no fucking buddy in the playlist so that I can pick a different one? I mean, hell, even in Treyarch's last offering, Black Ops 3, they had the cockamamie percentage number, which normally didn't add up to 100%, so I don't know how they calculated their math. It's not a strong suit over at Treyarch, but that number was shown so I'd at least avoid the ones in the single digits. Or better yet, let's go all the way back to their second game, World at War, where the PC version actually had a fucking server browser so that you could join specific games directly instead of forcing people through your convoluted matchmaking system for them to wait at all. That would be an actual specific PC feature that you incompetent shits claim you deliver with each port, yet can't be bothered with it because it makes too much fucking sense. And of course, Activision would never want to have themselves being made fun of for minuscule player counts ever again. Luckily for Black Ops 4, there's always Ghost to take the dunce cap as worst Call of Duty game ever made, but this one surely isn't far behind. At least Infinite Warfare tried to polish the turd that was Ghost by putting out smaller DLC maps and fun modes to keep the community engaged, but Treyarch has just flat out gave the fuck up on this one, especially in regards to delivering content for those douche canoes that had access to their parents' credit card for the Black Ops Pass, because there's been less content delivered in this game than any other in Call of Duty history at this time after release. Sledgehammer Games is going to be putting new weapons in an upcoming March update for their game that's now out of its life cycle. I'd rather play Call of Duty World War II, where at least the team made huge sweeping improvements as the game went through its life cycle, instead of what Treyarch is doing by completely ignoring community feedback and doubling down on bad design decisions. Anyways, do you think that next week's big update will actually spark life back into this game, or are you completely done with it like myself? Personally, I'd rather play Apex Legends and Fortnite for Battle Royale and Battlefield 5 or Iron Sight to get my FPS fix. I've been The Schwans27, out like a boner in sweatpants. Until next time.